as a return to form of RPG Maker tutorials and also recreating skills. Hey, what's up guys, my name's Storm. Today we'll be recreating Princess Connect skills. Princess Connect being a personal favorite game of mine as of recently. Yeah. Anyways, a few things to note here. For one, the skills that I'll be covering will be listed after this intro, or maybe during this intro, I don't know. A tutorial I was gonna actually be doing for this next tutorial instead of this one was gonna be weapon triangle effects from Fire Emblem, but many problems arose from that, including the fact that weapons can't really be tied to enemies, or at least to a point where you can check what weapon they have using scripts. There's also the fact that I have to pronounce people's or some characters' names in this, so I'm gonna butcher them. And also, well, I might put some extra effort into this one. Not extra effort as in like the editing quality getting higher. That's not gonna happen anytime soon. But maybe I'll see what I want to do. I'll explain the format of this video later. Oh, and also, yeah, I didn't start a new project because I forgot. So hopefully I'll remember for next time that I'll be making a new project. If I don't, then oh knows. Yeah, let's get started. Alright, we're going to be talking about the plugins and the attack skill. Well, not attacking, we're not really talking about the attack skill, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. But the one thing we want to, well, there's a few things we got to go over. Like, for one, the format of this video will be very different, as in, we'll be discussing the skill, or each skill individually, and then immediately follow up each of those skill explanations with a demonstration for each one of them, so not like both together. Hopefully I can do that. Runefire, get on that. And also, some of these skills are, well, these skills are typically for an auto battler sort of deal. So, okay, that part doesn't matter. Basically, let's go to our plugins here. We have a few plugins for today, and by few I mean literally two, actually. Buff and States Core and Skill Core. I know, a tutorial involving skills that doesn't include action sequence packs. The action sequence packs. Very strange. And now we'll go over to the attack skill because, while it's nothing special, I just wanted to show you the calculations for the attack. That's a spoiler for these skills. Okay, actually it's not really a spoiler for the skills, but here's a formula. I guess that wasn't really important, but I wanted to show you anyways because it has changed since the last tutorial. Alright, let's go on to the first skill. The first skill on this list is Inferno Shield, used by June. Now, Inferno Shield grants a barrier that absorbs a particular amount of damage as HP, instead of, say, blocking the damage, so we won't be using Absorption Barrier. For the skill here, all we're doing is having the user apply a state to themselves, which is Inferno Shield, which, speaking of Inferno Shield state, here it is. The only removal condition you'll need is remove at battle end. Now we'll be going to our custom apply effects using the Buff and States Core. Custom apply effect note tags. We'll be having the user set the state counter of this particular state to be 500. So we'll be having a total of 500 damage to be able to be absorbed. We're going to have a custom react effect now. If the value of the damage taken is less than the target state counter, so the target state counter is 500 and the damage dealt is, say, 300, we'll be, well, checking that, and that since the value is indeed less than the state counter of state ID, which is this particular state, which is why it's just called state ID, we'll be adding to the state counter. Well, technically we're subtracting by the value of the damage dealt, because since the value is less than the state counter, we can just subtract. So basically 500 minus 300 is 200 as a state counter. That's basically what this line is telling here. We'll be setting the value to, well, its counterpart, so value will be set to negative value because taking damage is the opposite of healing. The thing here is that I did not account for MP, so there's probably something else you're supposed to do here, like user gain HP. equal to the value, and you'll have to set value to 0 after that. So I'm pretty sure that's how you fix it, but I'm going to leave this here for now. Then we'll be playing an animation, just a normal healing animation here. Otherwise, if the value is greater than the target state counter, so if we're taking a 300 attack head-on, and we have a 200 shield, same example, we'll be having the amount of damage dealt subtracted by the state counter. Again, same example, but 300 minus 200 is 100 because 200 points were still able to be blocked. Speaking of that, we'll be gaining HP equal to the state counter currently. Since we blocked 200 damage, we'll be healing 200 damage. So as you can see here, get state counter, state ID, within these parentheses here. I think I had to put, I'm probably gonna have to put a semicolon here. I haven't been using semicolons, I don't know why. I should be, because then I can check if things went wrong and stuff. Then we'll be having animation, same one as before. Then we'll be setting the state counter of the target to be 0. Now with all that shenanigans, again, blocking damage and also healing, or blocking damage, healing, and also taking the remaining damage is what's done in these first 2 lines. This is just an animation, and this is setting the counter to 0. Now if the state counter is less than or equal to 0, we'll be removing the state. And that'll be the end of the custom react effect. I probably could have done something with clamp, because I should start using clamp. It's actually a really useful script call, but I'll probably use that in the future at some point. But yeah, let's go into the demonstration for Inferno Shield. Alright, going into this Inferno Shield demonstration, we are already at 300 HP because I pressed record anyways, but so it's gonna absorb 500 damage, so we should go up to 800 eventually, or at least, you know, without any going over damage, any excess damage that we may take. So we apply this Inferno Shield. The first enemy does 200 damage, and the second does 50 damage, just so you know. One of the attacks missed, though, so that's why I had 300 HP. This first attack is going to do 200 damage, and healing for 200 HP. Second attack missed, actually. We have 300 left on our state counter, so we'll be just doing something. I guess defending works still, but we healed 100 HP there. We're going to let this damage play out, gain 200 HP, and take actual 50 damage right there because, well, we didn't have to stay anymore. Alright, next skill. Thankfully, the rest of the skills aren't as bad as Inferno Shield, or at least take a lot less work. We'll be going on with I'll fill you with arrows, but I didn't think that these skill blocks could hold I'll fill you with arrows, so I just put fill you with arrows, which just sounds threatening. And again, the original text was threatening too. Anyways, I'll fill you with arrows will deal physical damage to the target. However, if the attack has already been used this battle, we'll be raising the damage by 50%. In the original game, it only raises it about like 30%, 40%. I don't think that really matters too much. I don't know what's the exact amount. It raises it by a considerable amount. We'll be attacking one enemy, dealing a physical attack and having a specific animation. We'll be having this formula, with the user's attack times 4. It's an element to physical. Now, if the user, well, we'll be using the pre-damage evaluation note tags from the skill core. If the user is affected by states 140, which we'll talk about later, the value, we'll be setting the value of the damage dealt by the user to be raised by 50%, which is indicated by 1.5. And that's it for pre-damage evaluation, actually. Going back to our states here, the only thing, there's not really much to talk about the states except for the fact that you require remove a battle end as a remove condition. Otherwise, that's not gonna make, or otherwise you're gonna have this bonus all the time, and that's kinda not good. And as indicated here, the, well, I guess I already talked about that. Going back to the skill, we'll be going on to our after evaluation. Now, if the user does not have the state 140, we'll be adding state 140 to the user. So if it's the first time the skill is being used this battle, we'll be adding the state to the user only for that time. Alright, demonstration time. Going back to the same demonstration as before, actually. Fill your arrows, again, deals physical damage, and if it's been used already, it'll raise the damage by 50%. We're using the attack, deal 400 damage. Now, at this point, the state has been applied. You can't see it, but it has been applied. And I can guarantee that because if we use fill with arrows again, we'll be doing 600 damage, which is 50% more than 400. Anyways, next skill already. Alright, Deadly Discipline. I forgot to say, but I'll fill you with arrows is from Arisa from Prince Connect. Deadly Discipline from Eriko is a physical damage attack that, if the attack kills the target, the user will be gaining an attack buff. Now we can do this simply by using a Tips and Tricks by Yanfly. Well, yeah, it's called Annie's Disintegrate. Annie from League of Legends. Disintegrate basically, if the target's HP is less than or equal to 0, as indicated here, the user's MP or the MP used from the skill is refunded, but in this case, we'll be adding a buff instead. So we'll be having this super powerful attack here with this formula. We'll be having this attack hit one particular enemy, whatever the user wants, of course. Making a physical attack, animation, not too special. If the target's HP is less than or equal to 0, using post-damage evaluation, the user will be adding the buff, well, using the script call to add a buff. I copied this script call from Critical Hit Effects, I think. Yeah. But I don't know why you have to put this twice. I am very confused, honestly. It was put twice for the buff and the debuff as well. Very interesting. We'll be setting the variable of the parameter to 2, more on that later, and we'll be setting the turn count for this buff to be 3. Now, indexes for buffs are as follows, at least for param right here. 0 is for HP, 1 is MP, 2 is for attack, 3 is defense, and etc. Since we are making an attack buff, we'll be using 2. See, it's also interesting because this is the only time I mentioned buffs before in a tutorial, but that was a long time ago, so I guess I just forgotten. And we'll be using those variables, well, as a part of the script call here, which is right after all of this that we just defined. So the user will be adding buff of param, aka attack, for 2, for 3 turns. And that'll be it for Deadly Discipline. So we'll be going to this demonstration right now. Alright, so going on to Deadly Discipline, which is a physical attack that kills the target, or if it kills the target, I'll gain an attack buff, or the user will gain an attack buff. We'll be attacking this owl because, well, it'll deal 800 damage. It'll deal 800 damage. But we'll be doing it one more time just so we can try and get a kill, which I'm gonna assume it will, but you never know, it could miss. And look at that, and now we have an attack buff, as, well, expected. Because we put it in our note tags. Anyways, next skill. Bloody Rose is the attack, or is the Union Burst, or ultimate skill, whatever you want to call it, used by Mitsuki, and it is a physical attack that deals damage to all enemies, but typically it would be those in range, which is not what we're going about here. For each enemy killed with this attack, heal 20% max HP. Now, this is another deal with Annie's Disintegrate tips and tricks here. Also, it's 20% of max HP because in the actual game, it's 5 different, or the max enemy count is 5, so you would heal all your HP between rounds if you killed all 5 enemies. So instead of having our skill to be 1 enemy, we'll be sending it to all enemies. That's basically the difference between the skill between this one and the previous 2, actually. Same formula as Deadly Discipline, but it doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you want. Same post-damage evaluation, actually. If target's HP is less than or equal to 0. I don't know what I was saying there. We'll be having the user gain HP, equal to the user's max HP, times 0.2. I didn't realize that it was actually going to work with the formula used for the damage formula up here, but hey, it does. And we'll be having animation play. So if one enemy is killed, the user will be restoring 20% of HP, as expected. So here's the demonstration. Alright, we're going to be doing Bloody Rose now. And we have 5 enemies. Again, for each enemy killed with this attack, it'll heal 20% of our max HP. Now, we're going to do one simple attack here. I'm not going to reduce my HP all the way down, but, well, you'll see the healing anyways regardless, because it'll display as damage pop-ups, or recovery pop-ups, I guess in this case. We'll be taking quite a bit of damage here, actually. Bring us down all the way to 600. I just kind of want to do it again, so I'll let this play out, but it should, if none of them miss, we will go down to 300, 200. Which is exactly what it is. We'll be using Bloody Rose, and if expected, we'll be healing 80% of our max HP, which in this case will heal 800 HP, which is exactly what we need, actually. Hey, look at that, we're at 1000 HP. Well, not anymore, we took damage. Alright, next skill. The final skill we have here is Shooting Star. It's funny because Shooting Star was actually my first listed skill, but I was too hesitant to do it, but now that I've learned so much from these 4 skills, I can now recreate it. Shooting Star will deal magical damage to all enemies. If the enemy's attack... Okay, something to note here. For this skill, we'll be having it so if an enemy's attack is greater than magic attack, we'll be raising the damage dealt against them, based on the user's magic. Now let me explain here. In the original game, as indicated by this little note I added here, this attack would deal extra amounts of damage to physical attackers, which isn't exactly able to be recreated perfectly in RPG Maker. Since enemies aren't really, or enemies or allies for that matter, aren't really designated as a physical or magical attacker, we'll simply be considering anyone who has attack greater than magic as a physical attacker, which is what I thought of myself. I feel very proud of that for some reason, but anyways, instead of physical attack, of course, we're setting to magical attack, and also all enemies just as before, or just as Bloody Rose. Also Shooting Star used by Hatsune. I don't know why I mentioned it now, but it's used by Hatsune. We'll be having a pre-damage evaluation. If the target's attack is greater than the target's magic attack, we'll be having the value equal to the value plus the user's magic attack times 2. But you can put whatever you want in this parentheses. And that's it, because all enemy scope and pre-damage evaluation go hand in hand. It will account for every single enemy, and will not be, well, say if it was 5 different enemies and 4 enemies had one enemy had physical attack greater than magical attack, then only that enemy would have boosted damage, which is really helpful, actually. With that said, let's go into the demonstration. Alright, for our final skill, which is Shooting Star. We'll do magic damage to all enemies, and if the enemy's attack is greater than magic attack, raise the damage dealt against them based on the user's magic. Now, in this case, well, the only one with attack greater than magic attack is actually the Rock Feather in the front here. The owls have more magic attack. I just wanted you to know that so you can tell that the damage is actually different. Or you can tell that the damage multiplier is raised for this Rock Feather here. There's not much to show here, but bam. 4 of them got hit with 120 damage, and 1 of them with 150. Now 150 is significantly, well, it was raised by double the user's magic, but the user's magic is 15. I guess that's not really important, but yeah, the damage was raised against the target. And I can guarantee that is not because there is a physical damage rate up, or it doesn't take bonus damage for physical damage, so that's why it actually did take bonus damage. You have to take my word for that one. I didn't show you the enemies. Alright, I think that's the last skill, so on to the outro. Alright, recording this after, or wrong word, before all of my demonstrations, because there's a lot of them. Hey, we're here at the outro. I really like making this one. It only took me like an hour, and I'm recording it right after it. Well, actually it was like an hour and a half. Yeah, about an hour and a half. It took some work, especially Inferno Shield, though I'm quite proud of that one because that was the first one So basically when I was thinking about making this tutorial, Inferno Shield was the one that came to mind because I thought it would be an interesting effect to recreate. However, I didn't want to recreate just that one, so I decided to go with a few more. Also, I'm going with these 5 skills because the other ones are pretty simple to do, and some of them would actually be copy-paste. Some of them are just skills that deal straight-up damage, which, you know, not too special. And yeah, hopefully I do something to spice up the video this time, Runefire. I'm just saying, if you want to do that thing that you thought about before, hopefully you do it. AKA, put some recordings of the in-game skills into the video. Hopefully you can record them. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, yeah, I've been enjoying this game. The global release was 3 months ago, and I've been playing it every day since. Which isn't saying much because I play Fire Emblem Heroes every day. Off topic. Yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. Next tutorial will come in, well, I don't know, but I have a lot more free time now because well, I'm more on that later in the update video, but I don't know when the update video will be released. Probably in June. But, yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. I probably said that already, or maybe I didn't. See y'all and stay safe. See you guys and stay safe, sorry.